Hi, I am Professor Andy Lane. I can't be with you. So what I've done is put together a few slides, give a bit of an overview on research and the research excellence framework. They can be the same things, but they can be seen as two separate ways to go about doing your research. Sometimes it helps to separate them out because what's been asked for the research excellence framework can demotivate you in terms of making you feel you're doing different types of research and it's all about the numbers game. Well, it is about the numbers game. We want to score extremely well in the numbers game, but it's also about your motivation. Both are absolutely vital to be as high as possible, and we'll look at ways in which we can do that. We know that research pervades all of our work. We know that some academics publish their research. But we also know that all academics use research in their teaching. They read previous research, they inform students about the research, their practice is based on research. So sometimes we're not conscious of that, but by becoming conscious of it, we could see what role we could do in terms of furthering the connection between research, teaching, and practice. And so your research, it should be inspiring to you, potentially inspiring to you, but it should be driven by your curiosity. What do we need to find out? What do you need to find out? What would be good for your subject base, students that are learning to be practitioners? It should be creative. Think of clever ways, interesting ways in order to tackle research questions that have real value. And this inspiring, curiosity-driven, creative process should be enjoyable. The challenge of finding out this new knowledge should be utterly enjoyable. It should link to your desire and passion and motivation to become an academic in the first place. Part of the dissemination process, getting others to find out about your work, should also be really inspiring and drive you because you want to share what you've done well, the new ideas, the creative thoughts, the curiosity-driven research, and the enjoyment of you doing it should come through in your work. So your research, it's important to stay motivated. Remind yourself why you're doing this. Keep the curiosity high up on the agenda. Keep your sense of enjoyment that you used to like doing research, or it can be enjoyable research. It's about finding something that's really interested. It's keeping the work ethic going, keeping the thing just chipping along, accepting it'll be tough at times, but just trying to chip this little project along, usually working with others to help it go a bit smoother, and often that makes it more enjoyable. Then we come on to the Research Excellence Framework, which is a way of creating a league table for research. But it's a league table we want to score as well as possible in. So we need to know the rules of engagement, we need to know how research is judged so that we can conduct research, publish research, have impact case studies, have an environment that is looked on favourably and makes a persuasive case for what we're doing is really good, and as a consequence we get the recognition by having a high league table position. So how do you go about playing the game? Well, it really does help to know what a really high scoring submission looks like. So what you do is it's not that hard to find out where the best scoring submissions are. You go to the REF 2014 set of results. I always do this by just firing into Google REF 2014, and from that you need to find your subject area. And once you've found that, it's starting point to then have a good delve about. And so having found units that are scoring 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, just poses the question, well, how do they get to those scores? Again, just need to go and have a look. It's rated in terms of originality. So somewhere in the article, the authors have made a persuasive case that this is original research. Now, Of course, not all original research has much value. So it has to have significance. Theoretical significance, practical significance, has to be new and be really useful, valuable, and be written in a way that is persuasive. Everybody can see that it has significance. And then alongside that, the research has to have rigour. The findings that are being presented, the original claim that's being made, the significance of the study is underpinned by rigorous research, by rigour in the research, rigour in the methodology. Again, in the articles, in the pieces of work, the authors have made a persuasive case that what they have found, what they are presenting, is an accurate representation of what was there. Really important to ensure that those criteria are in the forefront of your mind as you're producing ref-related output, because that is what you're being judged on. So what I do is I look at what institutions scored really well. Helps to find an institution with a small number of people who all scored a similar result, so 5 or 6 people all scoring well. Find the 3 and 4 star articles, impact case studies, environment. Really have a good dig around of what was in those articles. Read them. What sort of research? What was the research like? It's really enlightening. It doesn't take long to realise what type of research is being favoured, what type of environment is scoring well, how that is written in a persuasive way against the ref criteria of originality, significance, rigour. And you start seeing that it is actually quite good work. They are playing a bit of a game, but they are also demonstrating good work, and that is really important. So then ask yourself, can we do that? Normally the answer is yes. Normally the answer is yes, because you can see how the game is being played, and you can see that the type of research that scores very well, although often different to what your research is doing, you can see how you could do research of a similar style, use a similar design, and score equally well. Remember, it's not all of your research that we are looking at here. It is some research that, in terms of ref criteria, makes a persuasive case that it scores 3 or 4 star. Often the design is experimental. Often we need resources to ensure that the measures are valid, reliable. Bring colleagues into your research projects if need be. Colleagues as proofreaders, colleagues as co-authors, but work with colleagues. It's a team effort to get this 3 or 4 star submission. And plan a scheme that allows you to have time in order to, when the data is being collected, and I know that's really difficult, but by creating a reasonable plan, you get an idea where there is some opportunity to do some work on these projects. But it's possible. It's absolutely possible. And so what do we need to do? We need to work smarter, not harder. You need to keep the research in your area of passion, and you need research for the Research Excellence Framework. They could be exactly the same thing, but seeing them as 2 different exercises allows you to be able to keep the passion separated for the research you're really interested, and then do the research which is likely to score well. We absolutely need that research to score as best as possible. Well, thank you very much. That's all I have time for. Email me if you have any questions. Thank you. Okay, I have to go now. Bye.